So good evening and welcome to our FreeToastHost webinar presented by Michael Aron. My name is Crystal Cobb and I'm the Program Quality Director, and it is my pleasure to introduce Michael this evening. He's been a Toastmaster since July 2000. He is a Distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest designation that Toastmasters gives, which he has earned twice. Besides being the current treasurer of Keene Toastmaster, he also belongs to the AXA-XL Hartford Toastmasters Club in Hartford, Connecticut, which he helped to charter. Michael has given hundreds of speeches in and out of Toastmasters. He loves to help people improve their communication and leadership skills. He has also competed in over 100 speech contests. He's held every club officer position at least twice and has also held several district leadership positions. He's worked with and refined the FreeToastHost agendas that his club uses for over 7 years. FreeToastHost, the Toastmasters Club website platform, has a rich set of features for setting up and managing club meeting agendas. Taking advantage of these features will make it easier to schedule meetings, have members sign up for roles, and produce meeting role reports. In this webinar, Michael will demonstrate how to use the FreeToastHost agenda as a member, as the meeting scheduler, and as the website administrator. Please help me welcome Michael Aron as he presents the FreeToastHost website. Michael, over to you.
Thank you, Crystal. Can you hear me?
Yes, all
Okay,
good.
Good. As Crystal said, FreeToastHost has a very rich agenda feature, and I'll be going over that in this webinar. This is my agenda for tonight. The first thing I want to talk about is how to configure your FreeToastHost website for properly using the agendas. We can then talk about who can manage agendas in your club. We'll talk about the member's view. What can a member do in the agendas? And then we're going to add or edit an agenda. And if we have time, we'll talk a little bit about agenda templates. If you have questions, please put them in the chat and I'll get to them at the end of the session. So let's go and configure our website. The first thing you have to do is you have to log in. And some of the configurations that I'm going to talk about now require the login of the site administrator. So someone in your club should have the site administrator password. So you'll need to log in as that. And then you want to launch the admin console to make sure that everything is set up properly. Once you do that, you get the site administrator dialog box, and you're going to pull down on this website, on this drop-down list, and you're going to look for membership management. And when you click on that, you get to this kind of a window. I've blurred out our email addresses and phones, but you get the idea. So what you need to do as the very first thing is you want to make sure that all your members, your current members, are on this list and that their email addresses are correct. As part of the agenda system, you're going to be sending emails to members and so on. So you will need to make sure that everybody's email is correct. The best way to do that is to have one of the officers pull down the roster from Toastmasters International and then compare it to what you have here. The second thing you need to do is make sure that the officer list is properly set up. And the reason you want that properly set up is because the permissions in the agenda feature go by officer position. So you want to make sure that your officers are up to date. It doesn't do you any good if your VP Education on your website here is somebody that left the club 3 years ago then it doesn't help you to get agendas created and all that. The next thing is a little trick that we did in Keen, and I will show you what that is. If you look on the bottom, I added another member to the list of members called guest. If you look, it's surrounded by curly braces. And the reason for that is so that on any drop-down list, guest shows up at the bottom of the list of members. When you set up guest as a new member, you have to use a valid email address that's not the same as any of the email addresses of any of the members, because FreeToastHost sends out an opt-in email when you add a new member, and you have to be able to respond to that. So whoever adds it needs to have control over that email address. The phone number is an optional thing. All right, so I will show you later on where this guest member comes in really handy. The next thing we're going to do is set up the permissions for the various officers to edit and add agendas. And there are in the access settings, which is in the main part of the admin console, there is a section where you can set up different officers to have different permissions. And in this case, we've set up the same three officers in both of these sections, the president, the vice president, education, and the secretary. So these three officers will have the permissions through the main menu. I'll show you that in a second. And then these three officers will have permissions to add or create or modify agendas through the agenda buttons, and I'll show you that. This first section ends up having this little section additional to the main menu if you are one of the three officers. And when I get to the agenda, I'll go over the various buttons. So now that we've configured our website properly, let's talk about who can manage agendas in FreeToastHost. The first person that can manage agendas is the website administrator. That person who has the admin password can do anything in the site. So they can do anything with agendas. Those three officers that we listed, and you can have up to 6 different officers since they're 2 different menu picks, are based on the access settings. And what we did in Keen is we set it up. The vice president education is the default person to add or edit agendas. It's only natural for that person because that's the person that's going to be creating future agendas. The next person is the secretary. And the secretary is useful because one of the features of the agenda module is role reports. And if you go through after a meeting and adjust the role reports to be what actually happened at a meeting as opposed to what was planned, pardon me, then you get decent role reports, and I'll show you those in a minute. And of course, the president is sort of our default. Got to give the president something to do. Another person that can manage an agenda is the Toastmaster of the meeting. And that person can edit only the agenda for that meeting. And besides the Toastmaster, any meeting role, and I'll show you how to set that, you can set any meeting role to say that this meeting role can edit this agenda setting. And what might be handy to do is maybe your general evaluator deals with all the evaluators and the R counter and so on, and the Toastmaster only deals with the speakers. So then you might want to give the general evaluator the ability to edit agendas too. If you put these settings into a template, then they'll always be turned on whenever you create a new agenda from a template. All right, at this point, I'm going to switch my share to go to a live demo so that you can okay, let me know with the thumbs up if you can see this. And so this is an agenda on Keen Toastmasters. I made a special agenda for tonight's meeting so that I can play around with it. And let's go from the top. At the top is the date of the meeting. Then there is the agenda header, which you can put whatever you want in there. We usually put our Keen Toastmaster mission and a theme. In this case, the theme is webinar demo meeting. One of the other things you can set up in the agenda is a venue, and you can set up venues ahead of time. And if you set it up properly, like this one, this link is a Google Maps to the venue. So you can pick that from a list when you create an agenda. All right, now we're going to look at some of these buttons because there are a lot of buttons. And I happen to be logged in as the site admin, so I have all the buttons for myself. So here we go. These right here where it says view another agenda and the backward and forward button just lets you switch back and forth between this agenda and some future or past agenda. And you can pick them from the list here. And it only shows you a certain number, but if you click on this button, you can see all of them, which could be years worth. The next thing is these buttons right here. And the first from the left, these first 4 buttons up to where I have my mouse pointer, every member can see those and use those. So what this button is, and if you keep your mouse pointer on the button, it will light up and tell you what the button does. It's pretty straightforward. So if you want to email an agenda, usually the Toastmaster does that. And you can select who do you want to send the agenda to, who do you want the responses to come back to, and then there are various options, whether you want to include people's photos, whether you want meeting notes, roll times, and so on. And then you can just edit your message down here. And when you click send email, it sends it to all club members in this case. The next button is to print the meeting agenda. This is useful when you're doing a live meeting and you want to print your agenda for the people in the club meeting. And there are several layouts. There's a FreeToastHost standard layout, and there's a Toastmasters standard layout, and a Toastmasters layout in black and white, and then some sort of hybrid. You can take your time, try it, print one out, take a look at what it looks like, and decide how you want your club agendas to look. And just because you did it one way this time, doesn't mean you can't do it a different way the next time. The next thing is the role reports. And here you can get speech reports, role reports, all kinds of meeting attendance, all kinds of things about the meetings. And this is where it's useful for the secretary, who normally at a meeting would take all the minutes and do the attendance, to update the agenda to be what actually happened. For example, if you had 3 speakers planned, but only one of them showed up, you want to make sure that your agenda properly reflects that. Otherwise, these reports aren't going to be very good. The next item is a multiple sign-up sheet. So you can have future meetings, and whoever has already signed up for things, they'll be in there. And if you bring that to your meeting, people can actually sign up on the paper, and then you can go in afterwards and update the agenda with their signups. Hopefully, it would be nicer if people sign up on their own, but um, they don't always do that. So, okay, now let's look at this this drop down list here. Are you planning to attend this meeting? If you sign up for a meeting role, this automatically gets set to yes, but you can set it to yes even if you don't have a meeting role. Okay? And that will set the attendance on the for the meeting based on all the people that said yes and the people that signed up for meetings. Now, there are a couple of things to look at in the meeting roles themselves. This is one of the options, and that is to show the time of each meeting role. I've signed up as the Toastmaster here so that I can edit the agenda and all that. And you can see over here, the grammarian, the counter, the timer, and I think the timer, I don't know if the snack master, have a sign up button right here. But when I go to the bottom of the agenda where they give their reports, there is no sign up. This is so that people don't sign up by mistake in 2 different places. You get 2 different people signing up for the same role. So I will show you exactly how this is done. The other thing that Toastmasters FreeToastHost does in the agenda very nicely is you can number certain roles like the speakers and the evaluators. And then for the meeting role reports, they are all treated as the same role. So you were an evaluator, whether you were evaluator 1, 2, or 3. Okay, the next thing I want you to see is I've signed up for the Toastmaster role, and you can see here it's my picture's there, and my picture is there because I also signed up as a speaker. But here's another Toastmaster, and here's another Toastmaster. So we will show you how that gets set up. And if you decide that you're not going to do a role, you can click the X next to your name, and that will take you out of the role. Okay, so now, as a speaker, one of the options when you set up a speaking role is a checkbox that says, this is a speech. And when you say that, then you will get all of this extra stuff here. The pathways, which paths are you doing? What project? And it allows the speaker to fill all that in. It has the project description that you can click on and it will go right there. And then the evaluation form for that project, which makes it very simple for the evaluator to come to the agenda and print out your evaluation form. The other thing is you put in your introduction and you want to save all your changes. Whenever you do anything in FreeToastHost, you got to save your changes, because if you get out of the windows, the changes don't get saved. And right here is a tiny little, almost hidden icon that allows you to anybody to print the introduction to the speaker. So the Toastmaster can use this to print the introductions. There is a way when you print the agendas to print all the introductions with it. But if you want to print individual ones, you can do that here. Okay, now let's go and edit the agenda and take a look. Oh, at the bottom of it here, there's this notes section, which is also very handy. If any member can put a note in there, like I won't be there, or I will need a projector, whatever it is you want to say, and it will show up in the meeting agenda. You can also click on these two to upload files. Like if you have a presentation and you want to make it part of the meeting agenda, you can upload it here. This meeting notes is also very useful because when you assign a guest, and I'll show you how to do that, when you assign a guest to one of the roles, it just says guest over here. So you will, pardon me, you will need to enter something in here that says the role of general evaluator will be played by Joe Smith from such and such a club, because that will be a guest role. All right, so let's go edit this agenda and let's take a look at what the internals look like. All right, so in the agenda setup, you have the date, the time. This label will show up on your meeting calendar, and this is the venue. So I'm gonna just edit that venue, but basically this is all it has in here, and shows you that venue. And when you pick it, it will show up on your agenda. I've never used this lock at the agenda to restrict sign up screen changes, but this piece right here is useful because if you have set up an agenda for a special meeting and you know that you're going to use that agenda, or you're going to have that kind of special meeting sometime in the future again, then you can save this agenda as an agenda template. And then from then on, when you create new agendas, it will show up as one of the options for you to pick from a template. Here is your meeting description, so you can do whatever you like in there. This is a somewhat simple editor. Then let's talk about the agenda items. And there are a number of buttons for each item too. Each item is like the gray and then the white and then the gray. Those are 3 different items. And if you hover over these little icons, you can see what they mean. I'm going to edit the Toastmaster role because what happens when you do that, it actually moves the Toastmaster information to the bottom of the screen and allows you to update all these things. So in here, you see the Toastmasters opening remarks and roles for the evening. And there's something special in here, which I'll go over in a minute. And then this is the description of the role. You want this description to be useful, but not 4 paragraphs long, because when you print the agenda, it's going to make the agenda 5 pages long if you do that for every item. Then you can assign each agenda item a number of minutes. So how long is it going to take for the Toastmaster to introduce themselves and start to introduce the other speakers? And then for each role, you want to do that. This is a role for which members can sign up. There are times when you want this to be set yes, and when there are times when you want this to be set no. And we'll go over that in a minute. This is the one that says this is a speech. And when you click on this, it will give you the project information and all that for that role. This role should appear on the printed meeting agenda. So that's up to you, depending on the roles that you have. And then this is the one that says the person assigned to this role can edit this meeting agenda. So in this case, the Toastmaster can edit the meeting agenda. And then this other one is to ignore the role for historical reports. So for example, if you in your meeting agenda, you have a break, snack break, you don't want that in your role reports, so you can uncheck that. I'm gonna go over the, all right, now you can see here, the word Toastmaster is surrounded by asterisks. And then down here, again, the word Toastmaster is surrounded by asterisks. And again, it's surrounded by asterisks. It has to be exactly right. So in this case, you see Toastmaster apostrophe S. The apostrophe S is outside the asterisks. What that does is it tells FreeToastHost that this is all, every time you say star Toastmaster star, that's exactly the same role. And if we're going to edit one of these on the bottom, you notice that we cannot sign up for anything other than the first instance of that role. And that way, only one person can sign up for Toastmaster, and FreeToastHost knows that this is all the same person. And then the other thing is with the speaker number 1 and speaker number 2 and speaker number 3. So, and the way those get coded is speaker and then a pound sign, space, pound sign, and then a number. So, okay, now, what can we do here? This will appear on the printed agenda. This is a member sign up role, as I showed you. The second one of the Toastmasters not. This allows you to edit this particular role. This deletes that item from the meeting agenda. You need to be careful because once you've deleted something, it's kind of hard to get back. And then these two buttons allow you to move things up and down in the order. Normally, when you add a new entry, and we'll add a new entry here. We'll save what we have. Okay, so we'll go down to the bottom to add a new entry, and we're going to add a star, star. So we're gonna add a new role called a quiz master. All right. And yes, that person's explanation of the role will give them 2 minutes. And this is a role that they can sign up for. It should appear. They cannot do that. And no, we won't ignore it. So then we're going to save it. And you will see it gets added at the bottom of the list. So now if we want to move it up, uh, there is a way to move it up. This is a bit cumbersome. Let's try moving it up to there. It doesn't let you do it more than a screen at a time. So here we go. We'll put that right there. So now, but now we need to add another one. And just remember, it has to be exactly the same. And this is not a role for which they can sign up because we want them to only sign up at the beginning. It's not a speech. Yes. No, no. Okay. So we're going to save. And now we got to move that one. Fortunately, we don't have to move that one as far. We'll just move it over here. Okay, we'll just move it there. So now we save it. We close the agenda, and now you can see we have a Quizmaster explains role with a sign up button. And then down below, we have the Quizmaster asks questions, no sign up button. Exactly. And just to test that, I'm going to sign up for Quizmaster. I'll just do every role in this meeting, of course. Quizmaster explains role. And then if you look down below, yep, it took my name and picture and added it. So that all worked just fine. And then of course, you you add a role like that, you will need to look at the times and see what it is you have to drop, because you can see that from 6 to 7:39, our meeting is now almost 10 minutes over. Um, so you'll have to shave some time off somewhere and figure out how to bring the meeting back into a reasonable time frame. Okay, now, so that's how you are going to create, edit an agenda. I'm going to add a new agenda um, so that you can see how that's done. And let's say that we're going to add that for tomorrow night. And we're going to say 6 p.m. And here we're going to select an agenda template. Now there are a number of FreeToastHost comes with a bunch of templates, but if your club's been doing this for a while, you should have a bunch of templates already. I've created, we have 3 speakers with role introductions. Um, I have one called impromptu meeting, which is for a meeting where no one can sign up for anything and you're handed a role when you walk in. We've done that once and it was quite successful. We have speech contest agendas. They have completely different roles. They have judges and timers and so on, and contestants. So that's it. And then our Zoom meeting template has our Zoom link in it. So that's it. And of course, you can use any other meeting agenda as a template. So I'm going to use this one. And so now I have it, and I can change the venue. And I can, whoops, I can do that. And then we can go and actually, oh, I have to save it first. And now it has the items. Yeah. Like I said, you have to save it first. Um, okay, so that is how you add an agenda. It's very simple. Then the next thing we want to talk about is we're going to look at agenda templates. It's very quickly because there isn't really that much to agenda. An agenda template is basically uh, a pattern for a future agenda. So you can select, if you create a new agenda template, you would put the name over here, you would put the start time and so on. And then you can start adding roles, or you can base it on another agenda. Um, it's that simple that once you've got that template, you can base any number of meetings off of that. Okay. And I think that kind of covers what I wanted to cover. So I'm going to go to the chat and see what what our questions are. I do have some resources for you. I'll give you those in a few minutes. Yes, so when you can edit agendas as the website admin, and that's correct. If you move to another role, you lose that ability to edit agendas. Unless you're the Toastmaster, then you'll be able to edit the agenda for that particular meeting. So, and that's why that's by officer role. So the sergeant at arms doesn't usually do much about meeting agendas unless they do that in your club, in which case you should go to the access settings and set the sergeant at arms to be someone that can edit agendas.
And that's what I ended up doing. And it
Mhm.
was mostly because I'm the expert in the club. So I can help, I can fix things and check things out. But I think that if I signed in as administrator, I might be able to get to it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was
then
trying
you
to do it
definitely.
from as member.
Yeah,
So
right. It's
that was
because
my,
of those officer position
yeah,
restrictions.
that was my
Yep.
bright thought while you were talking. Oh, maybe I just needed to sign in as administrator instead.
Yep, that works. I noticed that I can't read what another speaker added as their title and introduction. Is there a reason why? I don't know why you would not be able to read that. Is that little print button? I don't know if that little print button is there that you can click on and it will print out, or at least it'll show you like in a print preview. And what role are you in, Pauline? Are you the Toastmaster or?
Hi, Michael. I remember once when I had to evaluate someone's speech, um, in my view of the agenda, I see that she signed up to be the speaker, and
Mhm.
there's like the entry box where you can actually fill in the introduction and
Yep.
well, title and introduction, even though I'm not the speaker, but it's there that I can change it. So I was just wondering if there's a way to see what the speaker actually put in as the title and
If the
introduction.
speaker put something in there, you should be able to see it.
Yeah, I see a box where I can put in the title and intro, but not the person's.
Yeah, I don't, because I thought anybody can see those introductions.
Mm. Okay.
Okay. Is it possible to delete an agenda that I created by accident? Yes, it is. And when you delete an agenda, there's a couple of steps you have to go through.
Mhm.
It makes you confirm that you want to delete it by typing capital delete in all caps at a certain point, and then you have 30 days to undelete it.
Where would I do that?
It's let's go to, if you're going to an actual agenda, it's this delete, undelete.
Oh, but I need to be a site admin, probably.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was the Toastmasters, I was assigned a Toastmaster, and I did, instead of save, I did save as new
Oh, yeah.
agenda and created a dupe of it. So
Yes. So this is not, when you're the Toastmaster, you get these 4 plus the pencil
Yeah.
one to
Yeah.
edit, but you
Mhm.
don't get the delete or the add.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So you'll have to get the website admin to do it for you.
Excuse me, Michael. I think I know what Pauline was talking about with those areas not coming up. If someone hasn't signed up to be the speaker yet,
Uh-huh.
they have to put their name in, and then those two, the evaluation form and the project description, will pop up and those windows will come up. But
Okay.
until someone puts their name in, it's not there. And one time I couldn't see what people had put in,
Mhm.
and it was because I needed to clean my cookies or something. And I don't know how I did it, but I think my husband helped me. And then I could see it again.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Scott DeJong, thank you very much, Michael. This has been most helpful. Sorry, I must leave. Okay, sorry. Winifred, when editing a roll of an existing agenda, can you change the font and letter size as well? No, there's not much changes you can make there.
Can you do that anywhere? When you maybe make a new template, could it be possible? The problem what I found is that when you run off a copy, you need so many pages. And if you look at the printout, there is a lot of empty space. It looks nice and clear, but it is just a waste of space. And I'd like to have larger letters and less empty space, and that is really hard to get. So I copy the whole printed thing out, put it on a page of Word, and then I can manipulate the letter size. But that's every time an awful lot of work.
Yes, it is. And I think that's the only way to do it now.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You can try different, when you print the agenda, you can try different formats and see if any of them work better than the others, because they don't all look the same.
yeah, it is a problem for when you need larger letters, yeah. Or even the small one takes up too many pages. It looks wonderful.
Yeah.
And the light blue
Yeah,
and
like
white sections are good.
if you look at this one right here that I have, somebody gave very long descriptions. And when you print this in, it turns out to be 3 pages long.
Oh my.
And it's like, no, yeah, we don't want to waste that much paper.
No, no.
So you
No.
have to be cognizant of how much paper
Exactly.
you're using.
Exactly. It's just that when I make up my own agenda, so nothing of here, but the same ideas, I can manipulate it much better than I have a letter size, an Arial 14 on 2 pages for the whole agenda. And I've got lots more of little reminders for the people who take on a role. You know, 2-3 word sentences. A few.
Yeah, I would suggest you try some of the other formats because some of them are a little bit more compact.
But larger letters.
That I don't know. You have to try it.
Yeah, because that's the key. Larger letters and less space between. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. It has many wonderful features as is, and I'm really grateful for that.
You're welcome. Will you be demonstrating how the upload and save image for the website homepage? No, I wasn't going to do that because that's not really part of the agenda business, but it's easy enough to do. I can do a separate webinar on that because there are some interesting features with that. I see nodding heads here. Only the Toastmaster and Webmaster can see the speaker's introduction from Sheila. Thank you, Sheila. Please, can you come again about the Toastmaster of Day being able to update the agenda? Yes, so if in the agenda, I'm going to edit this. And it says, The person assigned to this role can edit this meeting agenda. You can click that for any meeting role whatsoever, not just the Toastmaster of the day. For example, like I said, if you want the general evaluator to deal with all the functionaries, then you can edit that role and say, yes, let's have the general evaluator do it. If maybe in your club, the sergeant at arms does all the agenda management, then you can have the sergeant at arms be the one that edits the agenda. So anybody that you specify using that, using this option can edit the agendas. Now, they can edit them, they can't they can't add new ones, and they can't delete them, as we found out already. Okay, let's go to the next question. I hope that answered your question, Apalaji.
Yes, it does. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
You're welcome. Yes, you can create a print-only agenda that doesn't show all the explanations is right. That's one of the options when you print the agenda, you can shut that off. You can shut off the pictures and all that kind of stuff. So you can really cut it down to the minimum, but I don't think you can change the fonts on the agendas. Can there be more than one site admin? Yes, in fact, it would be a good idea if more, basically the site admin is the ID for the site admin is your club number, and then there's a password that's set for that ID. So whoever has that, we have in Keen Toastmasters, I believe we have 3 people that know the site admin password. You don't want too many people to have that because you end up stepping on each other. But otherwise, yes, it would be a good idea in case one of them is out. Any way to make the photo smaller on the agenda? It may be like the text, not doable. I believe that's correct. It's not doable. Just take the photos off. We need to learn to upload meeting minutes. Yes, our secretary already does that. And you can do that through this thing on the bottom here, upload files. So let's go there. It asks you, where's your file? And then I'm not gonna do it because I don't have a file. And it will then just upload it. It will end up in the file management system. Let's see, do I have any time? Nope, it's not what I wanted. There's a file management thing. It's based on one of the officer positions. But if I go to the site admin console, I can get to it from there. And you just pick the file you want and select it for upload, and that's it. You have to specify whether it's a members only or public. And then the other thing that we do in Keen is if you preface your file name with something, like in this case, forms, colon, and then a space, then it almost makes it seem like they're in folders. Not quite, but so anything that's got forms, colon, will show up almost like in a folder. Uh, Same thing with here, we have meeting minutes and uh, anything with a colon space afterwards before the file name will make it look like it's in a file folder. So that it's really not much more to it than that. Let me find my chat. Thank you so much for this training. You're welcome. Yes, I was going to tell you that the forums are very good. So I'm gonna go to the I'm gonna show you my resources list. And where is that? Okay. Here we go. And this is the last slide I have. Let me know if you can see that.
Yep.
Okay. So first of all, you can, if you have any questions, you can email me at any time and I'll try to answer. And then there's the two support areas for FreeToastHost. I learned a lot when I was doing this webinar through the support docs. Uh, so the help system is quite extensive. And then the forums are quite good also. People post things in there. And if you have a question, you can ask. So so those are places where you can look up and ask for help. You can also ask any other Toastmaster in your club who's worked with it before or in your area or division. Um, okay. Yes. So as you saw, the hour was taken up very quickly by just the agenda piece. So I think we need multiple webinars for FreeToastHost. And what we can find out is, yes, can we have a French version? I do not know, but we can find out. So I want to thank you, everybody, for attending, and I hope you got something out of this. And I will make these slides available to everyone. Even though I had a live demo, I have slides for the parts that I did the live demo on, just in case my live demo didn't work. So I'll make these slides available to Crystal, and she can distribute them to whoever would like them, or wherever you're going to put the recording. So thank you very much, everyone.
Awesome job, Michael. Thank you so much. This was a jam-packed information session, which really focused on the agendas. As you said, there's so much more to the Free Toast Toast. So we'll see if we can fit something else in, and we'll have those discussions. Once Michael sends me the slide deck and the recording which I'm going to stop right now.